Captain, a most curious development on scanner 5-7.
Let's all take a look at it, Mr. Spock.
Screen on, Captain.
If you are anti-mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. I don't care what your personal vaccination status is. If you support, champion, give a green light, give comfort to, support anybody who argues against the vaccine, you are an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely. Your personal vaccination status is utterly irrelevant. If you campaign against the mandate, if you campaign against people being vaccinated in vulnerable settings, teachers in classrooms, I'll be really clear, at that point in time, people were actually supporting the idea of a teacher being unvaccinated in a remote community classroom. If you are out there in any way, shape or form campaigning against this mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. If you say pro-persuasion, stuff it. Shove it. We are absolutely going to make sure as many Territorians as possible are vaccinated. That is our best protection against this thing. I will never back away from supporting vaccines, and anyone out there who comes for the mandate, you are anti-vax. You are anti-vax. You are anti-vax. You are
Destroy it. Fire.
You are anti-vax. You are anti-vax.
You are anti-vax. You are anti-vax.
Fascinating.
Chekhov, take us out of orbit, warp factor 2, and hurry.
Boom shakalaka, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters around the world. It is your boy Chris Shule, aka the Esoteric Noetic, aka the Chocolate Nubian Soul Brother from Ghana, West Africa, here in Melbourne, Australia, mate. Can you hear the birds chirping? Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, click on the bell, tell your friends, tell your mum, drop us some comments. Drop us those cryptocurrencies if you feel so inclined. Thank you for everyone that has been doing so. Check us out on the Patreon if you want to follow us and support what I do. Let's get it. Oh, how about that? That video was hilarious. Anyone that is against mandates is an anti-vaxxer. So let's not even think about what the mandates are. Let's just say any mandate and just call you an anti-vaxxer, meaning that you're against any kind of mandate. Because this is how we're defining things now. Don't you love the sophistry, the obfuscation of reality, the obfuscation of meaning in order to cast this dream spell? I mean, they're essentially telling you now that if you refuse wanting to be raped, something that is universally considered to be immoral, disgusting, then you're a bad person. It doesn't matter the fact that we've learned throughout history, we've developed codes like the Nuremberg Code that explicitly says that you can't force someone to undergo any kind of medical experimentation or any medical procedure for that matter unless you have their informed consent. That you have a right to be selfish, to say, hey, you're trying to rape me. I don't want to be raped. Yeah, but look, I'm raping you for your own good. Doesn't matter. I don't want to be raped. This is the whole point of the Nuremberg Code. So you couldn't allow people to force you to do things for the greater good. And people know this, but they're just casting this dream spell because they don't have any logical arguments. They're trying to use words in order to obfuscate reality. Make no mistake about it, what we are seeing right now is evil. It is a violation of the human rights. And these people will face justice for what they're doing. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come in the next year, maybe in the next 5 years or 10 years, but it will come. As I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 things, say it with me, that you cannot keep hidden for long. The sun, the moon, and the wisdomatic truth bombs of the Chocolate Nubian Soul Brother from Ghana, West Africa. Now, one of the things that I've been experiencing a lot lately is I've been speaking to a lot of my momos that should know better. I had this conversation with someone just recently, and they were telling me that they were fine about things, that they have excluded themselves from being inundated with what's going on because they realize that, like I say, the truth will come out eventually, and they're quite happy to do nothing. And look, I don't have a problem with that. Look, everyone has their own level of responsibility. Some people are in a position where they can't do what some of us are doing because they don't have the Constitution, they have kids to raise. But you can definitely say that we can all be doing something, all right? But the issue is that there are some people, like the person I was speaking to, that was telling me that things are not that bad. They try to create this narrative that this thing is not actually bad. They try to pretend that this stuff is not going on. That, oh, you know, you guys are just caught up believing it's conspiracy theories. That we're not seeing some kind of and look, I'm not going to use the G word, genocide here, you know, because obviously, you know, that's ridiculous. I can't believe there's crazy people that actually think that, all right? But when you force someone to do something, and this is the thing that you have to realize, as soon as you rape someone, even if you killed someone, whether it was consciously or unconsciously, if you force something on someone, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. It's still technically genocide. All of the horrible things that we've seen throughout history have dealt with individuals or groups or governments, for that matter, forcing their will on societies for the greater good. And saying that, well, we have to keep you as slaves. We have to force you to undergo medical experiments. We have to pick whatever you want. And it may be something as simple as taking away their land, taxing them on the land, taxing the air, like the British did to the Irish, how many years ago? Or telling them that they cannot leave their homes, which only forces them to have to defend themselves, which results in the aggressors killing them. This is essentially at the heart of genocide. So essentially, genocide is equivalent to liberticide, which is essentially the erosion of freedoms, the erosion of choice. Liberticide is a word that we need to start using because essentially it's how you bring about genocide. When you tell people that they cannot leave their homes, when you relocate people, like what is happening to the indigenous people of Australia.
They are not informing the people. They are lining them up. They are pressuring them. They are telling them they can't eat in the shops. They can't leave the community. They can't go shopping elsewhere. Those who are being forced, those who are fleeing to get food or fleeing from this forced vaccination are actually being fined $5,000 for leaving the community. So this is martial law. This is a war crime. This is a crime against humanity. And everything that has been implemented against humanity has been trialled and practiced on the tribal people of this continent. We are the guinea pigs. We are the dry run for everything. What they are doing in our community right now, do not think because you live in major cities that you are void of it. This is a dry run for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. They're trialling it on us. They tried the basic card, okay? Your universal income, non-cash card. Everything gets tried on us. The New World Order agenda, everything has been trialled and practiced on the sovereign tribal people of this continent.
That's how you bring about genocide. Now here are a people that have experienced like real genocide, the stolen generation of this beautiful country. And whereas this history was forgotten, and many years later, we're learning about the atrocities that were committed by the British Empire. And many of the ancestors of the indigenous Australians are wanting this information to come to the fore. And we're dealing with it now, too little, too late. Let's not see what is unfolding become a situation like what we saw, where tens of years later, we only start discovering the actual genocide that may have taken place. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to so many people right now that are trying to pretend that what is going on is not going on. And look, I can deal with cowardice. I can deal with people that don't want to deal with the reality, that don't have the courage to face it because they have their own problems. I can understand that. I can deal with people that are ignorant in regards to what's going on, the momos, that simply just have not had the time to educate themselves. Look, we're all ignorant on different things. There's no judgment here. What I cannot deal with is when cowardice meets momoism, meets ignorance. When you have people that not only do not have any understanding of what's going on, but they don't want to face the truth. They'd rather pretend that things are fine because they have ignored all this information. I've seen so many people do this, have no idea just of the gravity of the situation. The fact that there are even tens of thousands of people that have been protesting on this parliament steps against the liberticide that is taking place, against the tyrannical dictates that this Orwellian, treasonous government, Daniel Andrews, who's, by the way, is on the verge of facing treasonous charges. They want to pretend that all of this stuff is not going on, or they're just not aware. And then when you bring it to their fruition, they tell you things like, oh, it'll work out in the end. Well, the only way things change is by people actually standing, as one, people becoming aware of what is going on, and then actually enacting change. Change doesn't just happen because of some magical law of the universe where everything gets better. I often say that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. But it only bends because of people actually taking up arms and fighting against the injustice. And what I mean by that is actually having the fortitude, the courage to face reality, to becoming aware of what is going on and challenging the tyranny. And I become very disheartened when I hear people that I know should know better, and they tell me things that are not consistent with reality, that everything is fine when everything is not fine, when in actual fact, this is not a subjective issue. What is going on is, of course, it is evil, but it's something that we have never seen to this extent. People that say, oh, we've always had corruption, yes, but never at this extent. And granted, everything is subjective to some extent. Certain things are not, mind you, but you would have to be utterly disingenuous to try to pretend that what is going on right now is anything other than liberticide and the most disgusting violation of human rights and evil that we have seen in our generation, at least in my generation. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your head out of the sand. If you are someone that does not have time to focus on this, I can understand that. But please, have the courage to be aware of what is going on and be at least open to the truth when you are confronted by it. Don't be telling these conspiracy theorists that you don't want to listen to them because you somehow have a fragile constitution and you'd rather just not know. I know ignorance is supposed to be bliss, ladies and gentlemen, and you have a right to your ignorance, but don't expect to be living in a society where you have your freedom if you are choosing willful ignorance because you lack the courage. With that being said, I want to discuss an issue that we are facing here in Australia that is not a figment of air and imagination, is built off of reality. The Aboriginals now officially are being relocated. Now, of course, it's under the interest of their public health and safety, like the Momo in the video I presented was saying, but they are forcibly being removed from hotels. I want you to have a look at this video.
And like my sister said, when the elders are gone, when the parents are gone, what are the children going to have? Nothing. They're going to be removed off the land. This is a land grab. This has got nothing to do with health. This is a land grab. They've stuffed down south. They want the resources. They want the water. This is a land grab. They're coming for everything.
So there you have it. We are essentially seeing a land grab. And of course, it doesn't seem like that to a lot of the people that can't read in between the lines. I mean, essentially, they're just being relocated for their own good. Imagine that. Imagine if someone wanted to just take me out of my home and say that, oh, look, I'm doing it for your own good because there's a magical spaghetti monster and he's going to come and kill you unless, of course, you do as I tell you. And this is all you got to do. This is what evil people do. I say this over and over and again. They don't tell you that what they're doing is evil, and they don't make it out as if it's evil. They don't tell you, they don't speak in this horrible, nefarious voice. I want you out of my home. It's my home, not your home. Get out. I'm going to take away your land, and I'm going to use it for my own evil purposes. No, they tell you, well, my dear friend, I see that you're living in this beautiful land, and look, there's a terrible virus that's going on, and I really do care about your people. We saw what happened to you many hundreds of years ago, and I want to make sure that your people do not die. So we're going to relocate you to a much safer place, and we're going to just offer you, well, maybe not offer you, well, you have to take this substance. And if you don't, we'll fine you. And but only because we want to protect you. All right. So look, I'm going to have to insist that you leave your vicinity because we must inoculate you to make sure that you are healthy. This is what evil people do, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what we are seeing in Australia, mate. And so many of the Momos, despite the history of these people, are still calling for this. I call you out on your ignorance, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of ignorance is not enough. If you're going to use your ignorance to justify atrocities, this liberticide, it's not good enough. One, it's outrageous because of the context of the situation. And look, I'm not about race and not about rights, but you do find that these people, they are amongst typically, and I'm generalizing here, a community of people that, one, do not have the access to a lot of the wealth that a lot of the people in more richer places of the country have. Therefore, they don't have the lawyers at their disposal. They don't have the money at their disposal. They don't have the ability to fight a lot of these mandates. And they're being taken advantage of. And it's absolutely disgusting that this is what we are seeing. And it absolutely is something that requires us to at least talk about. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a voluntarist. I don't believe in forcing anyone to do anything. But make no mistake about it. If you are sitting by idly and you don't speak up about this kind of stuff, well, I mean, it's your conscience. I mean, personally, I don't do this stuff for anyone. I mean, granted, I love talking about information. I'd much rather be talking about other things, but I'm doing this stuff because I, within my own consciousness, within my own sense of responsibility, feel like I need to speak about this kind of stuff. I'm not compelling anyone to do this, though. But for the people out there that want to pretend that this is not going on and justify this, that it's not that bad, it's fine, you know, we're just doing it for their own good, you guys are the problem, unequivocally. It is the apathetic that make up the bulk of society that are actually not directly, but facilitate this stuff and going on. Granted, it's the politicians, these momos, the soldiers, the people on the grounds, the order followers that are instigating this violence. It's the people that are not necessarily directly bringing about this stuff, but are willing to allow this stuff because they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to rock the boat, that are indirectly at least allowing this stuff to take place. So whereas I'm not saying that you have to do this stuff, I am urging you all, if you can, to speak about this and do it within your own capacity. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to remind you that we do not see true change unless people will it. That the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. But it only bends towards justice when those are willing it to bend towards justice. By those that are willing to stand against the tyranny, that are willing to plant themselves like a tree beside the river of truth and say nay to the tyranny that is unfolding. No good was ever achieved by saying yay. It came about from saying nay. There will always be evil within at least this world, ladies and gentlemen. And it's incumbent upon good men to do something. As Martin Luther King once said, evil happens not because of evil men, even though it is because of evil men, but it definitely prospers because good men choose to do nothing. Illuminate your minds with wisdom, strengthen your will with love, purge all negative thought patterns from your existence. Signing out, Chris Yule, a.k.a. the esoteric noetic, the chocolate Nubian soul brother. Ow!
What is liberty?
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet?
What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community?
There are no political solutions, only technological ones.
The economics of the system don't allow multiple competing systems to survive.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.